Okay, we are moving right along through the general pages in the center window. In the last lecture we talked about the oscillator page, and in this lecture we're going to talk about the key tracking oscillator page. So what is key tracking? Well, it is responding to a particular pitch of an incoming MIDI signal and responding to it. So if you think about an acoustic piano, it has pitch key tracking in the sense that lower on the left-hand side of the piano keyboard, it will produce a lower note, and on the right-hand side, up at the higher octaves, it will produce a higher note. So that just has natural key tracking built into it. In Massive, you can tweak this key tracking function per each oscillator. So let's just look at how this works to sort of get an understanding of what I mean by that abstract terminology. So over here we have this little source and target matrix. The linear button here is by default selected, and that means we have a line, just one diagonal line going across. On the horizontal axis, you have a virtual keyboard here represented, and there's 127 pitches, 0 to 127. And then on the vertical axis is the outgoing pitch. So horizontal axis is incoming pitch of the MIDI note. So when I strike a note, it appears here with a vertical line. And that will, so the incoming note is here. It's like an F. And the outgoing pitch is key tracked in this oscillator because that's the default linear setting. If I select the user option, now I can tweak this key tracking graph in order to suit my fancy. So I have these 5 breakpoints here. One in the very beginning, one at the end, and then 3 in the middle. And I can adjust these by clicking and dragging them around in order to create different shape of the key tracking. So for example, I can have a completely horizontal line here, which means that I'm not going to have any differentiation between the incoming pitch and the outgoing pitch. It's always going to be here at 82. You can see as I move up the keyboard, it's the same pitch. I can reset these this way. Okay, so that's normal. If I want at the middle of the keyboard, I can have it drop down like this, so that when I play here, so even though I'm moving up the keyboard, the pitch is dropping down corresponding to this slope here. And I can also just turn the key tracking off. So then there I have just the same note no matter what as well. I can assign this single key tracking graph to any of the oscillators. I can assign it to all 3, as well as to the insert effects, so that my effects respond to this key tracking page. So a couple of other points about this. So I mentioned you have these breakpoints. When you click and hold it, the top value down here is the y-axis, or the outgoing pitch, and the bottom value is the x-axis, the horizontal axis, or the incoming pitch. So I can sort of target that exactly as I want it to be. Okay, and I can do that with all of these. Shift clicking and dragging will let you make finer adjustments, so that makes it a little bit easier. And so if you want to reset this, you can just double click this left hand breakpoint down here right to the left of the breakpoint, this horizontal line here, and that will just reset it to a normal linear setting, or you can just go back to the linear source, which is uneditable, like this. All right, so that's the key tracking page for the oscillator. You can use that to tweak the key tracking function in Massive and change the outgoing pitch according to the incoming MIDI messages. In the next lecture, we'll talk about the key tracking filter page.